Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
Monday, and all of our guests today, including Ian Furness, standing by, sponsored by Passant Motors. Passant has taken Santa's job and are bringing the gifts. Get rates from 4.99% gifts with vehicle purchases and much more. Learn more at Passant Motors, BASANT Motors.com. Packers knock off the Seahawks 30-13. There goes the Seahawks 4-game win streak. Here to talk about that and the Seattle Kraken from KGR Sports Radio and the Kraken Hockey Network, our friend Ian Furness. How are you, sir?
Gentlemen, good morning. Happy Monday to you.
Thank you for that, Ian. That's an inside joke that we don't have to get into. Hey, I know you're not a doctor, but an update on Geno Smith's health, if you have one.
I don't. Sounds like test today. We'll find out later. Mike McDonald will meet with the media, I think around 2:30 today is what it is. So, I mean, it didn't look good. And Sam Howell coming in looked worse. So, yeah, we'll wait and see how it goes. But just kind of icing on the cake of what was just an absolute nightmare of a night for Seattle.
Was that more about the Seahawks or more about the Packers? Because they looked very impressive.
Yes. I think both.
Okay.
I think there's a division in the NFC and probably the AFC too. I mean, we pay more attention to the NFC out here, but I think there's a true separation between, I guess just call it the upper class, middle class, and then the others. And, Seattle is just frankly a middle class football team that has yet to prove this year they can beat someone that's good. They had one win this season against a team with a winning record. That would be Denver, and that was in Bo Nix's first ever start. Outside of that, they haven't, if this was college football and we're doing the song and dance of the college football playoff, well, what's your strength of schedule and what do your wins look like? Well, in the Seahawks case, not very good. They haven't fared well against good teams. And Green Bay, Detroit, Minnesota, those are all Philadelphia. Those are all upper echelon teams. I think there's a distinct separation between them and the other teams that are trying to fight for a playoff spot right now.
And it's the Vikings next week for the Seahawks at home. What would a lengthy absence – I think you answered this question in a way a couple of answers ago, but what would a lengthy absence for Geno Smith mean for the Seahawks with Sam Howell in mind?
Hopefully fewer red zone interceptions would be one, but no, I mean, honestly, I don't, in Sam Howell's defense, NFL quarterbacks that are backups during the course of a game week, they get like next to nothing in terms of reps. So like he wasn't, he's standing and observing almost every rep that's taken during the practice week. So he's not getting a lot of work in. Hasn't played yet this season, thrown into the fire against a really good defense. And so, I think he'd look better after a week's worth of practice. But, there's a reason Geno's the starter, and there's never been a question about that, despite the red zone interceptions. So what would it look like? Probably not very good, especially with the team coming in here next week, which frankly looks like they might be better than the team they just saw yesterday, which is not a fun thought for Seahawk fans and for the coaching staff there. But and it's not a must-win mathematically, but it really is kind of a must-win. They got to get that thing Sunday and figure it out along the way when Minnesota comes to town. It's just it's been a struggle, man. There's no doubt. It's been a team that, for whatever reason, has been better on the road than at home, the Seattle Seahawks.
Well, the Kraken at home this week, you beat the Bruins 5-1, but then you lose to Tampa Bay 5-1. Talk about the homestand so far, Ian.
Yeah, I mean, it's been an all right homestand. I think, Rick, that they started off and Florida's a heavy, good team that they snuck a point out of and actually had 2 or 3 chances in overtime and a couple breakaways to win it. And, Bob decided he was going to, he's an interesting netminder. Like, wake me up when it gets to April type of guy. Oh, I'll play in overtime. What the heck, and was good. then they beat the brakes off the Bruins, and and you guys saw them on Saturday, right? Like, what a weird turn of events. 5-1, 5-1, and all the way around. A lot of 5-1 scores, but they beat the Bruins, played really well in that game. And then obviously on Saturday, they ran into a team that, that Tampa team is just loaded. It's hard, man. I'll be honest with you. I keep waiting for the schedule to lighten up for the Kraken, and it just hasn't. And then the one week where it was light, allegedly, with Tampa Bay or with Anaheim and San Jose, they lost those games. So they're still playing well. They're 4-2-2 or 4-2-1 in their last 7 games, and they're playing better. Grubauer has been a bright spot. He's played well in his last 4 starts, which is good. That's a good sign because they can't lean on Joey every night. And they really miss Yanni Gourde, to be honest with you guys. Like that's a big piece of the puzzle. They still trying to figure out their top 6. I just noticed this, and you guys have some high end players up there, but Seattle is just so much built on its goaltending and its 6 defensemen. And then you look up front, and they just don't have the aircraft carriers. They just don't. And I don't know if that's a sustainable thing to go into every night knowing that, like, other teams have 40 and 50 potential goal scorers, and you just don't. And hopefully those will come down the pipeline with young guys down the road and so on and so forth. But, I think the Tampa game was a great example. I mean, their top 6, probably 4 of the top 6 guys are Hall of Famers, right? And so it's and the Hall of Fame goalie didn't play and Hedman didn't play, and they're still really good. So Seattle's a solid hockey team is how I'd always tell people. I just don't know if they have enough high-end talent to compete with the big boys on a nightly basis.
Ian, Kraken owner David Bonderman passed away at the age of 82, played a pivotal role in getting the Kraken to Seattle and securing that Climate Pledge arena. Just awful news this week.
Yeah, Rick, I'm glad you brought him up. Bondo was, it's the reason we have this palace of a rink. If any of your fans have been down here, it's in no way, shape, or form what the old Seattle Center Coliseum or or Key Arena was. It's a completely new building. It's state of the art. It's just a palace. Honestly, I can't say that. The building is just spectacular, and the building doesn't happen without David Bonderman taking the lead and saying we're going to bring the NHL here. He's taken the lead. He was the force, and since day one said, hey, we're going to bring the NBA back as well. We have an NHL team. We have a state of the art building. That's also a great concert venue, and we've got the NBA coming here in a 3 years because of David Bonderman, because of his vision, and because the guy had the fortitude to step up and invest and see the potential in our market when so many other owners and potential owners never have. And so, we owe him a massive debt of gratitude, guys. We really do. I think, Rick, you texted me or somebody texted me the other day from up there about the ownership. He'd already basically transferred it over to his daughter Sam.
Okay.
She's been running it on a daily basis for the last couple of years anyway. And I say it like overseeing everything, building, bigger picture stuff, renovation of the Seattle Center grounds, stadium there, and the NBA coming. Victor DeBonis, you guys know well, is working with Todd. He's kind of he's the hockey team president. So Todd Lywicki's kind of in between Sam and Victor. So they've had a really good plan in place. I think David had been ill for a while, but they've had a plan in place, and they're not going to miss a beat. It's not like when Paul G. Allen passed away and the Seahawks are kind of left in a trust and the Blazers are left in a trust. This is a far better situation, and I would say in our market, honestly, it's the best ownership situation we have for any of our pro sports.
God bless them. One more, Ian, back to the Seahawks. Is it hard for the Seahawks and the fan base and everybody involved in the organization not to look ahead to the final game of the regular season against the Rams?
Well, it shouldn't be, because if they lose the next game or two, then that game could turn to be irrelevant pretty quick, right? Mm-hmm. Like there's a chance if they lose to Minnesota this week, if they lose to the Vikings, then they need some help. They need the Rams to lose one of their next two before they play again. But if they win the next two, if they were upset the Vikings and then they should beat the Bears the day after Christmas on Boxing Day, then the Rams game is for everything. So it's kind of an interesting dynamic that they're in right now. That game certainly looms large, Donnie, but it also could become irrelevant over the next 2 weeks as well.
Oh, good. I got tickets. All right, Ian. Thanks for this. When are we?
You're going to SoFi? You're going to SoFi?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yes. Pardon me.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I'm planning to get tickets. How about that?
Oh, right. Well, trust me, you'll be able to find them down in LA without a problem. I've covered a few games down there, and let me know when there's a sellout there because it'll be the first. So yeah, no, it's a good stadium. You'll enjoy it though. Honestly, you'll enjoy the facility itself. Maybe not the neighborhood, but you'll enjoy the facility. It's a good spot to watch a game.
For 2 weeks in a row, no video of Ian Furness, just a phone call. A lot of people. We're getting a lot of texts in the inbox about that.
Yeah,
people are upset.
Nobody wants to see this face live. And listen, you guys bouncing me around. I thought I was a Tuesday guest. I'm a Monday guest today. I got I can only do so much. I would hope next Tuesday's Christmas Eve. Are we doing it on Christmas Eve next week?
No, but you can talk to yourself on Christmas Eve. Yeah.
Okay, good.
That's where we'll go. That's what we'll go.
I'll look in the mirror and pretend I'm talking to your audience.
Well, okay. I'll tell you what, Ian. Merry Christmas, because we're not gonna see you or talk to you before.
All right.
So Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you too, to Ryan and your great viewers / listeners up there who I hear from on a weekly basis, good and bad. Appreciate all you guys.
Thanks, Ian. All the best. Thank you so much.
See ya.